Luqas, Luke, chapter 9. And having called his 12 talmidim together, he gave them power and authority over all demons and to heal diseases. And he sent them to proclaim the reign of Elohim and to heal the sick. And he said to them, Take not for the journey neither staffs, nor bag, nor bread, nor silver, neither have 2 undergarments. And whatever house you enter, stay there and go out from there. And as for those who do not receive you, when you go out of that city, shake off the dust from your feet as a witness against them. And going out, they went through the villages, bringing the good news and healing everywhere. And Herodes, the district ruler, heard of all that was done by him, and was perplexed, because it was said by some that Yochanan had been raised from the dead, and by some that Eliyahu had appeared, and by others that one of the old Nevi'im has risen up. And Herodes said, Yochanan I have beheaded, but who is this of whom I hear such? And he was seeking to see him. And the emissaries, when they had returned, related to him all that they had done. And he took them, and they withdrew by themselves to a city called Bethsaida. And when the crowds knew it, they followed him. And having received them, he was speaking to them about the reign of Elohim, and healed those who had need of healing. And as the day began to decline, the 12 came and said to him, Send the crowd away, that going into the surrounding villages and country they might lodge and get food, because here we are in a lonely place. But he said to them, You give them to eat. And they said, We have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all these people. For there were about 5,000 men. And he said to his talmidim, Make them sit down in groups of 50. And they did so, and made them all sit down. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, having looked up to the Shemayim, he barach, and broke them, and gave them to the talmidim to put before the crowd. So they all ate, and were satisfied. And 12 baskets of the broken pieces were picked up by them. And it came to be, as he was alone praying, the talmidim were with him, and he asked them, saying, Who do the crowds say that I am? And they answering said, Yochanan the immerser, but others Eliyahu, and others say that one of the old Nevi'im has risen up. And he said to them, And you, who do you say I am? And Kepha answering said, Hamashiach of Yahuah. And strictly warning them, he commanded them to say this to no one, saying, The bane of Adon has to suffer much, and to be rejected by the elders and chief Kohanim and scribes, and to be killed, and to be raised the 3rd day. And he said to them all, If anyone wants to come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his stake daily, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake shall save it. For what is a man profited if he gains all the world, and is himself destroyed or lost? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the bane of Adon shall be ashamed when he comes in his esteem, and in his fathers, and of the Kodesh messengers. But truly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death at all till they see the reign of Elohim. And it came to be about 8 days after these words, taking with him Kepha and Yochanan and Yaakov, he went up to the mountain to pray. And it came to be, as he prayed, the appearance of his face changed, and his garment radiant white. And see, 2 men were talking with him, who were Moshe and Eliyahu, who having appeared in esteem spoke of his death, which he was about to complete at Jerusalem. But Kepha and those with him were heavy with sleep. And having awakened, they saw his esteem and the 2 men standing with him. And it came to be, as they were parting from him, Kepha said to Yahushua, Adonai, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 booths, one for you, and one for Moshe, and one for Eliyahu, not knowing what he said. And as he was saying this, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud, saying, "This is my Bane, the beloved, hear him." And when the voice had spoken, Yahushua was found alone, and they were silent and reported to no one in those days any of what they had seen. And it came to be on the next day, when they had came down from the mountain, that a large crowd met him. And see, a man from the crowd cried out, saying, "Teacher, I beg you, look at my son, for he is my only child. And see, a spirit seizes him, and he suddenly cries out, and it convulses him with foaming, and scarcely leaves him, bruising him. And I begged your talmidim to cast it out, but they were unable." And Yahushua answering said, "O generation, unbelieving and corrupted, how long shall I be with you and put up with you? Bring your son here." And as he was still coming, the demon threw him down in convulsions, and Yahushua rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the child and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the greatness of Elohim. And while all were marveling at all that Yahushua did, he said to his talmidim, "Lay up in your ears these words, for the bane of Adam is about to be delivered into the hands of men." But they did not understand this saying, and it was veiled from them, so that they did not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him about this saying. And a reasoning arose among them, who might be the greater of them. And Yahshua, having seen the reasoning of their heart, took a little child and placed him by his side, and said to them, "Whoever receives this child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For he who is least among you all, he shall be great." And Yochanan answering said, "Adonai, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow with us." But Yahushua said to him, "Do not forbid him, for he who is not against us is for us." And it came to be, when the days of his taking up were being completed, even he turned his face to go to Jerusalem. And he sent messengers ahead of him, and they went and entered into a village of the Shomronites to prepare for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was turned for the journey to Jerusalem. And his talmidim, Yaakov and Yochanan, seeing it, said, "Adonai, do you want us to command fire to come down from the Shemaim and destroy them, as also Eliyahu did?" But having turned, he rebuked them and said, "You do not know of what spirit you are, for the bane of Adam did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them." And they went on to another village. And it came to be, as they journeyed on the way, that someone said to him, "Adonai, I shall follow you wherever you go." And Yahushua said to him, "The foxes have holes, and the birds of the Shemaim nests, but the bane of Adam has nowhere to lay his head." And he said to another, "Follow me." But he said, "Adonai, let me first go and bury my father." And Yahushua said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and announce the reign of Elohim." And another also said, "Adonai, I shall follow you, but let me first say goodbye to those in my house." But Yahushua said to him, "No one, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the reign of Elohim." Luqas, Luke, chapter 10. And after this the Adon appointed 70 others, and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him into every city and place where he himself was about to go. Then he said to them, "The harvest indeed is great, but the workers are few. Therefore pray to the Adon of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest. Go, see, I send you out as lambs into the midst of wolves. Do not take a purse, nor a bag, nor sandals, and greet no one along the way. And whatever house you enter, first say, 'Peace to this house.' And if indeed a son of peace is there, your peace shall rest on it, and if not, it shall return to you. And stay in the same house, eating and drinking whatever with them, for the laborer is worthy of his wages. Do not move from house to house. And into whatever city you enter, and they receive you, eat whatever is placed before you, and heal the sick there, and say to them, the reign of Elohim has come near to you. And into whatever city you enter, and they do not receive you, go out into its streets and say, even the dust of your city which clings to us we wipe off against you, but know this, that the reign of Elohim has come near to you. And I say to you that it shall be more bearable for Sodom in that day than for that city. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles which were done in you had been done in Zor and Zidon, they would have repented long ago, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But it shall be more bearable for Zor and Zidon at the judgment than for you. And you, Capharnaum, who are exalted to the Shemaim, shall be brought down to the grave. He who hears you hears me. He who rejects you rejects me. And he who rejects me rejects him who sent me. And the 70 returned with joy, saying, Adonai, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I saw Satan falling out of the Shemaim as lightning. See, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you. But do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names have been written in the Shemaim. In that hour Yahushua exalted in the Ruah and said, I praise you, Father Adon of the Shemaim and of the earth, that you have hidden these from clever and learned ones and revealed them to children. Yes, Father, because thus it was well-pleasing in your sight. All has been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Bane is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Bane, and he to whom the Bane wants to reveal. And turning to his talmidim, he said separately, Baruch are the eyes that see what you see, for I say to you that many Nevi'im and sovereigns have wanted to see what you see and have not seen it, and to hear what you hear and have not heard it. And see, a certain one learned in the Torah stood up, trying him and saying, Teacher, what shall I do to inherit everlasting Chai? And he said to him, What has been written in the Torah? How do you read it? And he answering said, You shall love Yahuah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And he said to him, You have answered rightly. Do this, and you shall live. But he, wanting to declare himself righteous, said to Yahushua, And who is my neighbor? And replying, Yahushua said, A certain man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among robbers, who, both stripping and beating him, went away, leaving him half dead. And by a coincidence a certain Kohen was going down that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Levite also, when he came to the place and seeing, passed by on the other side. But a certain Shamaronite journeying came upon him, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and he went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and having placed him on his own beast, he brought him to an inn and looked after him. And going out on the next day, he took out 2 pieces of silver, gave them to the innkeeper, and said to him, Look after him, and whatever more you spend I shall repay you when I return. Who, then, of these 3 do you think was neighbor to him who fell among the robbers? And he said, he who showed compassion on him. Then Yahushua said to him, Go and do likewise. And it came to be as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Miriam, who also sat at the feet of Yahushua and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and coming up she said, Adonai, are you not concerned that my sister has left me to serve alone? Speak to her then to help me. And Yahushua answering said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about much, but one only is necessary, and Miriam has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken away from her.